Questions?
All right, good to see everybody. Fun first day. It's really always, there's so much build up to getting to the start of training camp. And it's so fun to finally be out there on the grass with the team, with the new players that joined us this summer, just all the new pieces. And it's kind of exciting to see some of those guys run around a little bit. Obviously it's first day. There's no thorough evaluation of those things quite yet, but it's fun to see everybody out there together and to be back together as a football team on the field practicing. I really feel like this training camp is a critical moment for us in our program right now. I feel like it's such an important time for us to dive into the development of our football team. And yesterday I talked about kind of the development of our kind of the backups and all the other pieces, so that we can feel like we have something sustainable every time we step on the field. But then there's also just the development of the physical and the mental and the emotional toughness that you kind of take the time to build over training camp. And it was good. We had a good hot day today, which was great. We were out there in the sun. And so it's a great test coming out the blocks for us. But I think we set a good baseline today for where we want to go and what we're trying to get done. I thought the energy was really good. I like the progress. I think the offense seems to be having a good grasp of what we're trying to do in terms of our shifts and motions and tempo. Obviously Noah gives us a great chance for that, just with his maturity and his experience. But I thought the other guys did a good job with that. It was not perfect. It never is. But I also think there were some really good moments from the secondary today, and that's going to be really fun. I think there's going to be some interesting battles at the corner position. And, I think you saw AG have a really nice pick six there in the team period at the end. So I'm excited. I think our players are excited. Right now they're all getting in the cold tub. Just to make sure we're trying to take care of our bodies. But like I said a minute ago, I think we set a good baseline today, and I'm excited to see what we bring tomorrow.
All right, Miranda, raise your hand for questions, please. We'll start with Justin and then Jason.
So looking back to last year, when you look at the red zone and that part of it, what were some common issues and how do you think you guys can improve that area?
All right, Justin, I'll tell you this. I told you I don't want to talk about last year. I'm not worried about last year. You know what I mean? That's like, I'm focused on this year, on this team, on what we're trying to get done with this football team. I think the issues that we had a year ago were multi-layered, okay? And I've said this ad nauseum. They're multi-layered in that we had some injuries, right? We made some bad play calls. We were short some personnel in some spaces that hurt us in our ability to attack the whole width and length of the field. And with those injuries, then that became a big protection problem. And I think where we were at the red zone is much of a reflection of where we were at offensively as it was in terms of what we were calling and what we were trying to get done.
And with that, how do you feel with Seth and just the new pieces that you've added? How do you think that's going to help you guys?
I think it's going to be great. But I'll have a better answer after we've had more than one day of practice.
Jason?
2 questions.
Oh, here we go.
Just first one, it seemed, and I could be wrong, that practice was faster today. Just the overall pace, especially with the offense. Is that by design? Is it my imagination? Or?
No, I think that's a big. I think a focus for us right now is just having a real sense of urgency to improve. And to me, the way that shows up is, how do we get drill to drill? Like, what does the tempo look like when we're playing? What's the tempo look like when we're taking the field? I think those are things that are 100% in the player's control, right? And like, are you excited to get out on the field and do your thing? Or are you just kind of lagging out there? Like, what is that saying about you? What is your body language? What is that saying about your intention when you take the field? And so I think that has a lot more to do with our overall sense of urgency, our overall enthusiasm to get on the field and get to our process of development and improvement.
And then you mentioned Aiden Garnes. In the spring, it was straightforward. Trading wasn't playing. Garnes was in that position. How do you get Garnes on the field now in terms of position and things like that, now that Stoops is back?
Well, I think that's the fun thing about football, is that we're going to play the best guys. You know what I mean? And so, obviously we have a lot of faith in Traden Stoops. He's been an outstanding player here for a long time. He's also coming off a serious injury. So we're going to be really patient and smart, and we're going to let the doctors and the trainers decide what his process is getting back to full speed with us, right? In the meantime, what AG is doing is exactly what every player should do. If someone goes down, you should take advantage of that opportunity. You should go out there and kick as much ass as you can in the time frame you've got so that you can show us you're ready to play. And so today's just one day, and he made a good play, and I'm excited about that. But it's going to be fun out there on the edge at that corner position. It's a really good group.
Brian and then David.
The players that you've added since spring ball, this is their first practice with you, and I'm assuming most of the stuff they've done to this point have been player-led type things. How do you make sure that they're fully integrated in this, like right away? Do the coaches need to do a little extra with them during practices, or maybe the teammates get them involved?
Yeah, I think it's both. I think that's kind of a part of that Bear Down brotherhood, is it those older guys, those guys that have been in the program, it's their responsibility to help the young guys at their position assimilate and get kind of, injected into what we're trying to get done schematically. And then I think the coaches also do a good job of that, right? Those players will come by when they have an extra 5 minutes and just say, hey, can we watch 7-on-7 today? Or can you help me through this? Or can you explain this play call? And so I think that's everyone's responsibility to help those young guys come along. And I think our team does a really nice job of that. And I think, as we get further and further in training camp, it's going to be fun to see what it looks like as those guys start to have some more confidence when they know what to do. I tell every freshman the same thing every year. If you want to play, know what to do. It's actually quite simple. And I would say sometimes they listen and they're all in and they know exactly what to do. And those guys end up getting on a plane. They end up getting in a game. They end up sometimes playing as true freshmen. Sometimes they end up playing 4 games and then redshirting. I think the guys that end up getting passed by are the ones that are like, oh, well, I'm going to redshirt. I'll play next year.
But this also applies to like the transfers that you've brought in.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And, we've broken up our team, as we go through training camp into some different groups. They're, like all different position groups, and those guys have to eat together and they have to do some stuff together. So we're kind of trying to get each other some extra opportunities so that the receivers don't always sit with the receivers at lunch, and the O-line doesn't always sit with the O-line. They have to sit with this mixed group of guys from all positions so that we start to develop some rapport between each other.
David and then Michael.
Coach Javen Watley, I believe, was a new face out there. What do you see in him, and what is his potential?
We're really excited about Nunu. That's his nickname. He's an awesome kid. He was with us in spring, and we were really excited about what he did during spring practice. I think he's a guy that our fans are going to love watching play. He's incredibly tough, super high care factor, great energy. So it's fun. It's fun to see him making some plays out there today. I think we can be excited about hopefully seeing more of that as we continue through camp. But I mentioned yesterday that receiver room is going to be fun. That receiver room is going to be some intense battles in there. There's going to be guys fighting for reps, and the good thing about that is that all those guys know that if you don't know what to do and you get taken out, the guy might go in and ball out, and now you're going to be on the sideline for a minute. So I love that competition in that room.
And was the practice shorter today? I mean, due to the heat, or was
No. This is conversations with our training room, our strength and conditioning staff, and our coaching staff about what the optimal first day schedule is coming off of. Has it been 3 months since we last practiced?
Michael and then Justin.
Jara Anderson is someone you guys brought in last spring out of the portal who had some experience on the FBS level, and of course he gets injured and misses last season. Looks like he's back and in a position of need for you guys. What are your expectations for him?
Yeah, I'm excited. I think that group's going to be a lot of fun. Bear is a explosive, twitchy athlete. I think someone asked me yesterday about the D-line, and I mentioned McKnight, but we're excited about Bear and what he can do. I love what Coach Salavea is doing with that group. Just watching how he coaches them and how he pushes that room. I think you're going to see a lot from Tia. That's going to be a lot of fun. And Palu, it's a really exciting group. I think we've added some size in there, which was like a really important thing for us in the offseason. But I think Bear is one of those guys that can be a playmaker. He has just a knack for getting in the backfield. And so it's going to be fun to watch him kind of develop over the next couple of weeks. It's going to be fun to watch that room shake out also. There's a lot of competition there, a lot of good players there. And the truth is, you always need more D linemen. Like, you always do. You can't ever have enough.
Justin and then Damian.
So one of the competition that is punter. Today we got a first look at that. What do you make of Isaac Levison and what he showed, and just kind of his story and how he got here?
Yeah, that was a Coach Niver special. Obviously, with a guy like Craig, who's been coaching in the special teams for so long, has a lot of history of, taking guys from, Australia and like just those guys that grew up kicking a football. And Isaac, like I think the fun thing about it is that he settled down a little bit after pre-practice and started to hit the ball pretty well. It's his first day. You know what I mean? It's his first day. And so we're excited to see what he can do over the next couple of weeks. He's a good kid. He's just getting to know us too. So he just got here, but we're excited about him.
And then Scotty being out there.
Yeah.
What's that like? And have you ever coached him before?
No, I get that question a lot. I haven't coached him ever, just the nature of this job. I never coached Little League or AYSO soccer. My wife did. My wife was a Little League coach for the boys, But it's fun having him out there. I'm excited for his process as a college football player, and it's fun. It's funny because last night when I was talking to the team, I'm looking at the room, and we're talking through like setting expectations for the season, for training camp, blah blah blah. And it's just funny every now and then I'm like pick up his face in the crowd, and I'm used to that face being 9 years old, So it's fun. I'm excited for him.
Damien and then Jason.
So Brent, you talked about the receiver room and the competition there. If you took a walk down memory lane back to your playing days, how did you go about establishing chemistry with your quarterback?
Okay, it's like this is the simplest thing ever. All right. Number one, as a receiver, if you always know what to do, the quarterback will throw you the ball because you're never going to screw him. You're never going to be in the wrong spot and cause him to throw an interception. Number two, if you catch it when he throws it to you, if you're a consistent, reliable pass catcher, that's what the quarterback wants. You asked me yesterday about Noah throwing it to T-Mac, right? There's a reason for that, right? There's nearly a decade of consistent, good results when that happened. You know what I mean? And so that was how. When I was in school, I did spend a lot of time with our quarterbacks. I was good friends with those guys, but when it was out on the field, know what to do and catch it when they throw it to you. It seems simple, but when you become reliable to them, because those guys don't like throwing incomplete passes either, right? So that part of it is really simple.
I'll go last question to Jason.
One of the things that we do on the first day is look to see who put on good weight, bad weight, all that stuff. What players stand out to you in terms of maybe the physical transformation or the newcomers in terms of first day?
Of the guys that got here in June?
Guys that weren't here necessarily in spring, guys that put on a lot of, like Danny told us yesterday that Chase put on a lot of good weight over the summer.
Yeah.
Guys like that kind of stand out to you.
Yeah, I think KD, Kaena, I think he put really that body kind of started to change. It looks a lot better than it did when he first arrived. I know he was here in the spring, but I think just thinking overall, when I saw Jack Luttrell at pictures yesterday, I thought Jack looked great. You know what I mean? I think that part is exciting. I think watching Genesis and just kind of continue maturity there of his body and his growth and development. Of the young guys that just got here, I think Gio Richardson's done a nice job. The receiver from Basha. He's a super conscientious kid. He's one of those guys that I was just talking about. He knows what to do and he'll catch it. He's a reliable guy. He's a lot faster than I was, which I'm sure Noah will like that. But he's it's varying degrees of it, right? For those skill guys, if they just put on 5-8 pounds, maybe 10 pounds, that is super significant on a skill body, just because what it provides them in terms of, body armor and protecting their joints and their shoulders and their collarbones and their elbows and all that stuff. And so I think Chris Hunter has had a great offseason in terms of just how he looked, how he reported, so there's a lot of guys. I think this was, and I know coming out of spring, I forget what our number was, but I think we had added 500 pounds of muscle in terms of our body mass indexes, right? From the start of January, or when we first started training mid-January to the start of spring practice, I think that was part of my, you guys can fact check if that number is what I said, but I think that's right. So it's been fun to see kind of that momentum continue with our strength and conditioning staff. And then you inject, 25 new guys or 22 new guys like this, in June and, June all the way till now. And I think those guys are doing a great job with them.
Thank you, Coach.